Okay. We did it. Wait, I did it again. Yeah. We're good. We're live. I saw us. I can see us.
Okay.
In the past.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Welcome to today's Bathrobe Chronicles. Starring me, Graham Talley.
Yep, and I'm just the cameraman here, so...
The camera's actually on a little stick.
That's how
We
we
figured
get
that
it.
one out.
That's how we get it.
And we've been calling up different float center owners to chat with them, and I guess a researcher in one case. And I just realized that my mug handle is way out, sticking towards the camera, which isn't a normal way to drink coffee, so fixed that. And yeah, we got another fish on the line for today, you know?
That's right. Beth Jones.
I like the suspense there. That's a pro move.
Yeah, Beth does stuff with float tanks, including having floated herself, running a float center. She might have invented the float tanks, I'm not entirely sure, but somewhere in that spectrum.
Yeah, does a lot of stuff in the industry, very active on the collective, is the kind of standing president for the Float Tank Association, and yeah, was kind enough to don her bathrobe and join us for today's call. Should we do it?
Let's do it, let's ring a ding ding.
Should we put the gas on?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Nice. Pretty good. Pretty fast, right?
That was pretty fast,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Last time it didn't even ring, so.
Hello!
Hey!
Oh my god, you
Alright.
guys are adorable. How's it going?
Pretty
Good.
good.
How are you?
You're looking
Living
nice.
the dream, man. Living the dream.
Excellent.
Yeah, what's going on over there? What are you busying your days doing right now? I assume your center's all closed up and shut down for the time being.
Yeah, I have a couple of centers that are all closed, which makes things interesting. Like you guys know, I have there's a lot of moving parts in my life. I'm a bit of a ringmaster of a proverbial circus. And so in addition to doing some shifting with float center things and making sure everything's ready to open when we're ready to open, I've been working on a lot of other stuff. So busy is the word.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. And just out of curiosity, what did you end up doing with your tanks when you shut down the centers? Did you end up like lowering the temps and diluting them, or what's the status of your units?
Yes, all of those things. So, you guys know I'm grateful to be a key holder of the Float Kingdom. So there is one tank that's fully operational for me, and for my staff if they want to get in there. But otherwise, yeah, the other two are, the temperatures are lower. We're just kind of keeping them like bare bones maintained, running the circulation at longer intervals and things like that, so that we're saving on electricity where we can. And yeah, so it's I've been in there building desks and stuff. So it's
Building
good.
desks?
Yeah.
Like multiple desks? Like are there just gonna be
Like you
desks
went on
all
like
over
a-
your lobby at the other end of this?
Yes. So that is part of my business shift. I've decided we're just gonna have desks. So we're gonna have like a desk.
That's
A
nice.
bold
like,
move.
yeah.
No one else we've interviewed so far has taken that approach to the quarantine, but I like it.
You know I do what I do, Graham Talley. You never know what's gonna come up next.
Cool. And then what about just personally for maintaining sanity? Has there been anything that you've just found especially helpful as you've been at home more, or have you actually been getting out to go on walks and out into the big scary
Desk
world?
or non-desk
Yeah,
related.
desk or non-desk related.
I am incredibly fortunate to live one block from the Atlantic Ocean, so I'm
Nice,
spending
yeah,
a lot
that's
of
excellent.
time walking on the beach, which has been really great for sanity. But I also, one of my other business things is I wrote a 12-week e-course for women, actually, and it's all about awareness and mindfulness and boundaries and innate joy and all of these things, and just kind of healing from past stuff and learning how to be present. And so I've been spending a lot of time in that and working on that and being on a bunch of calls with a bunch of righteous, fierce women in that realm. And so it's been really interesting for me because I've talked to a lot of people over the last 5 weeks or so, and I think there's like this myth that like the happy Beth that shows up in the world is like pretend. this is really just who I am as a human all the time. And so there of course have been some moments and some challenging days and some frustration with government programs. But otherwise, doing really well. I am resting easily and that everything is going to shake out just like it should one way or another. And focusing on the things I can control and letting go of all of the things I can't, of which there are many these days.
Yeah.
Right. And that's okay.
Another really important question for you. Are you in fact wearing a bathrobe right now?
Of course I'm wearing a bathrobe right now.
Good, yeah.
Excellent.
Good
I
guess.
thought that's what we were doing.
Yeah, it's what we're doing. Some of the guests
people
don't
didn't
seem to
get it.
understand that.
Yeah, we'll see if they get invited back to the show.
Yeah, I actually put it on especially for this call because I've been in the mastermind cave today, so it seemed like a good addition.
The mastermind cave? Is
Yeah,
that one
no,
of those
we
things?
totally
Yeah,
have one.
absolutely.
We got a
It's
couple-
right down in the basement of Float On. Yeah, we go down there
couple
for all of
of
our
those.
very
Yeah.
important calls with the mayor, for
Yeah.
example,
Yes.
that we have.
Yeah.
That's,
The
that's
president
good. It's good to have a
of
call with
Portland
friends,
talks to
so.
us all the time.
Mastermind caves are important.
So what's your mastermind cave?
Yeah, what's your setup? Just to compare,
Yeah, just
to
you know,
compare to ours, you know?
Well, it's in a little like 1952 surf shack beach bungalow, and it's great. It's just there's a desk and a computer where I can design stuff and write things.
Just one desk,
And
though? Alright.
What?
Just one desk?
There's just one desk here because I'm building a museum, so I took all the rest of the desks to the float desk business that I have now. I felt like they should be offered up to the people.
That does sound nice. I wish we had the beach right next to us. That'd be pretty great.
Well, if you can find a way to teleport yourself here, you're welcome.
Okay.
Join me.
I wouldn't do it anyway. We have a long-standing debate over whether teleportation would ever be safe. Ashkahn's very pro-teleportation. I'm very against it. We won't get into it. It's a messy argument.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
We've had hours of debate about it.
I can understand both sides of that argument.
So you wouldn't consider
especially-
yourself especially anti-teleportation?
I'm not necessarily anti-teleportation. I feel
Because you
like
see the benefits.
um,
And they're worth the
I mean,
risk.
it's like when Elon Musk unveiled the truck thing that he created, and it was supposed to be bulletproof, but then it wasn't. And so when you get into technology, things get a little dicey.
And when you're dealing
Yeah,
with genetic
yeah.
sequences in your own life, perhaps a little too dicey is what some...
It's not like
might
driving a
say.
car is perfectly safe right now, but we all accept that it is a much more efficient way of getting around than walking.
All right, we'll do a special
That's all
live
I'm
stream.
saying.
We'll-
That's all I'm saying. That's it. We can leave it there in the camp that I'm right.
I feel like that this is a perfect topic of conversation for this episode.
We'll do a whole special teleportation episode. Yeah, but for now,
I just would like to apply for a seat at that table
Done,
whenever
yeah.
that conversation happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's a big
I feel
one.
like maybe like 3 a.m.-ish at FloatCon would be a good time to have that
To really get
conversation.
into it. No, there's going to be a talk about it this year and several workshops, I think, probably, that I'll be hosting, and some rallies.
Okay, good.
There's
Good.
actually...
I've decided actually since my birthday party was canceled because of quarantine that I'm gonna have a birthday party at FloatCon with pinatas and kazoos. So,
Nice.
There's a very exclusive invitation list for that party. It's basically just gonna be like anybody that's there and near me. So
We'll put it on the homepage of the website. We'll really start it. We'll
Yeah,
start
for
hyping
sure.
it up.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like Beth Jones's delayed birthday party. Also, Justin Feinstein will be speaking. Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Well, you've been super busy on the Float Collective as well, posting up a ton of resources for people, which has been awesome to see. Like, thank you so much for spending time doing that and sharing those with everyone.
So happy to do it. It's those programs are a bear to navigate, and it just sort of became a cause that was like, okay, well, whatever I'm learning, I'm just going to put it in here, and we'll all figure out how to sort through it together. And of course, now it does not. The second round of funding, it's gotten a lot more interesting because some banks are requiring people to submit completely new applications to access the second round of funding, and some of them are saying, no, we don't need one. We're working on this backlog of applications we already have. So it's fascinating, but definitely worth checking with your individual bank about.
Yeah, it's pretty insane trying to navigate complex bureaucracy when even the bureaucracy isn't figured out yet.
Yes. Have you guys had any success with any of those programs?
Yeah, like we applied for the EIDL loan and got nothing in response. Like still to this day, radio silence from the SBA about that. And then we were lucky enough to actually make it through the PPP program, just through sheer luck and applying to
determination. I think we applied to like 8 different banks, you know, like it was, since Wells Fargo didn't look like they were going to cut it as a funder, as our bank that we usually go with here. So no, that was a crazy ride. It's been kind of like weirdly bittersweet too, because there's all of these unemployment benefits going out to people. Like getting the PPP program means pulling our staff off of unemployment to do work like remotely that they don't usually do since they work from home, and like it's kind of a little bit unfortunate. Like they're in a lot of cases getting less as a result of this than they were with the stimulus checks and their portion of their pay on unemployment. So like a lot of them aren't like super stoked that we're calling them back to work, even though that's probably what's gonna really help Float On survive. So it's really interesting. Like this whole thing, in addition to being like a whirlwind on the bureaucratic side, has also been this like emotional whirlwind internally around all of these finances, which was completely, like it blindsided us really. Like we didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, it was one of the most interesting things about the Paycheck Protection Program, and I actually have been in communication with a couple of different congressmen's offices about it, because the way that PPP was written in Washington in the CARES Act is not the way that it got rolled out, which was unfortunate. The SBA got a hold of it, and they were actually the ones that added that 75-25 rule for the PPP, and that's sort of the piece that jacked it all up for everybody. Initially, it was intended to sort of be like a, hey, thanks for keeping these people off of unemployment. We're going to help you like pay your overhead and keep your business alive in this downturn for doing that. And then when the SBA added that 75-25 rule, it made things super challenging for businesses like a lot of ours, because the money that you were going to get that could be used for overhead was very nominal, and it took all of your control away in terms of what you could pay people and what you couldn't. And because there are some rules with the unemployment that if you had more control over the amount of money that you could pay those employees, that they could take both, if that makes sense. Basically, you could give them like a stipend. So some really interesting nuances with all that, and it'll make your brain spin.
It's been wild. It's been almost like the first time in our entire point of running Float On that we felt like serious resentment from people and just like trying
that's hard.
Directly competing perspectives on what needs to be done or is good, or I don't know. It's all been really crazy. And it's also insane that what we're doing is taking people back to like the normal wages they were making before, and it's just like in light of how much has changed in the world that like what feels so normal is so abnormal.
Yeah, it is. It's like, and it's the way that things change minute to minute, and the information that gets put out minute to minute, and like it's like the decision you would have made 5 minutes ago isn't the decision that you would make now.
Yeah.
Based on the new information, and I mean it's insane. It's an insane atmosphere to be operating as a small business owner right now. And
especially when the stakes are like so crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're making decisions with no information on like huge things, and like I don't know, you just have to like I mean, luckily like I think we've had that perspective that even if like 3 weeks later it turns out we didn't take the best path forward, like we just know that there's no way we could have known that when we made those decisions. Like it's kind of an impossible expectation to actually make it out of this in like the most ideal way that you could have.
Yeah, I think I think those are really important prefaces to just about every conversation with business right now, is to just remind people to give each other grace, and that everybody is making the best decision that they feel they can with the information that they have available, and that's different for everybody. It just I mean, I know that like right now, one of the sources of contention is that there are some float centers that are open and have been open, and there's been some fuel on that fire, some pushback in regards to what those center owners are choosing to do. And the reality is that, like, man, if I could open my float center right now, I totally would do it. And truly, like, from the standpoint that, it was great. It's been great to have this time to take a step back and kind of reevaluate sanitation procedures and figure out, like, what we can next level and what we can't, and, be able to shift schedules around so that we're ready when we're able to reopen. But this time in the world right now would probably be one of the most impactful times ever for people to have access to float tanks. Because of the list of benefits that we know come along with float, and the things that are going on. Like, people need mental health support right now, and they're not getting it. And we've been in this place where we live in a society where we cover up, like, our coping skills for hard things is to be busy, right? Like, we just mask the hard stuff with busy. Like, oh, well, that's uncomfortable, and I don't really want to think about it, so I'm just going to be busy.
I'm just going to throw on some bathrobes and call up our friends and chat,
Yeah, I'm just going to do stuff. And so people don't have that like, security blanket right now. And so people are faced with a lot of things that they have been, practicing not thinking about for a long time, and there's no tools to figure out how to cope with that stuff. And so I really do wish in these moments that I could offer that support to people. And so that's been probably one of the most challenging things for me, is knowing how badly our clients need us to be open and having to say no.
Yeah, for sure.
And fortunately, we've been fortunate, we've gotten a ton of, like, our membership is outrageously supportive. They have just been pouring love into us. We've had very few cancellations. I get a ton of emails. Like, every time somebody's membership gets charged, I get an email that's like, I love you and I can't wait to see you.
That's awesome. I love it.
It just makes me want to cry every day, and happy tears, obviously. But, and it's interesting too. Like, I got a message the other day, because I had posted that our application to be deemed essential was denied, and so I posted about that on our Facebook page, and I had a woman ask if we had been closed while we waited on that decision, and I said yes. and it wasn't like, it was apparently a baited question, and I didn't know. Because she was like, oh, well, that makes me want to come, like, that makes me want to come as soon as you're open because you were doing the right things. And it was like, oh, well, I'm glad I answered that. The right way, I guess. I don't know, it's just really interesting the mindsets that people have about all kinds of things right now.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of lines in the sand that get drawn. It's like, you know, our society operates in these extremes, and it's like, oh, if you believe this one thing, then you can't possibly believe any of these other things. And it's like, well, that's not really, you know, how life works, but okay. Okay. There's been some fun conversations about that.
It's certainly true. I mean, yeah, at the very least, it's like, I don't know, it's been kind of nice to have a perspective of just realizing that, like, the actual reason for all of this is so much more important than all these other little things, you know? Like, trying to keep people safe and stop this whole thing from being even crazier than it is like, worthwhile enough that I kind of just understand that this is crazy, and bureaucracy is going to be crazy, and loans are going to be crazy, and jobs are going to be crazy, and, like, all that kind of sucks, and it's also kind of, like, worth it, you know? So that's been kind of keeping me sane for some of this.
Yeah, there's a lot of wild facets to that. You know, because, like, there's that, right? Like, we work in wellness. We want people to be well and healthy. Like, that's what we do for a living, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this other, like, whole other half of my heart that's, like, crushed thinking of people who have, you know, had their, like, were working their tails off and trying to feed their kids and pay their rent on time, that just had, like, the income rug jerked out from under them, that now are just, like, wallowing. And I have no idea how to do any of these things. And that's been the other half of the challenging coin. So it's like, okay, well, how do I pour love into all these people? Because, you know, that's how I roll. It all comes from love somewhere.
So you're going to be donating a desk to each and every one of them? Is that?
That, you know, that's an interesting strategy. I think I'm just going to open the museum for use. People can just use the desk.
Yeah, the museum will have a really nice front desk, I'll tell you that much.
The float desk museum. But as long as they're wearing masks, because that's, you know, it's cool. Like, it's a really great time in my life because I've always, you know, just kind of been an outlaw anyway, and so now I can wear, like, a bandana around my neck.
Yeah, and you're doing your part.
Plus, like, they don't see, like,
this is, like, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Because, like, so many other people are, too, they won't even see the train robbery coming until it's too late, you know? Like, you can really sneak up to them with the bandana on, and it's not weird right now. Like, it's a, big benefit for robbers.
I never thought I'd go into a bank with a bandana wrapped around me. Here we are. Wild times.
We got an email some days ago from the FTA with updates. Is that something you want to chat about, or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on right now.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, tell us.
What's going on?
Yeah.
You guys are great. Yeah, so I think, you know, I mean, we've been in the last maybe 6 months or so, we kind of started the newsletters back up, and have been working on communicating all the things we've been doing in the last year. And it's been a lot. It's honestly, the FTA was in a place where there was a lot of, like, foundation structure that needed to be built properly. And, you know, revisiting bylaws and trying to figure out how to navigate that, and transfer a bunch of admin stuff, bank accounts, and those kinds of things, which took a lot of time. And I'm grateful that we're through that part now. And it's cool that, you know, that this latest email was all about how it's that time of year, right? It's the time of year that we need to elect a new board of directors for the FTA, because those of us that are serving on the board right now were actually named as an interim board at Rise last year. So now it's time to like officially vote for a new board of directors, and of course everybody that's on the interim board will be on the ballot, in addition to some other like pretty awesome nominations that we have received, that, you know, either people self-nominating or have been nominated that are willing to get into this with us now, which is awesome. The support has been super cool, especially, I mean, you guys know it's been a challenging road with the FTA for a couple of years, and so it's cool now to kind of see the steadying of the ship, and some excitement coming back to fruition about it.
Yeah, that's great.
And it seems like you guys are doing.
You can join the FTA for $1.
Yeah,
Nice.
Now. Which, like, by the way, I watched that. I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you guys see that video that I did?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's on Float. It's on the Float Collective.
Oh, okay.
I did a video about the membership piece of this, because of course you have to be a member to vote in the election.
Right.
And everybody's float centers are closed. So I was like, next level challenge for the FTA board was like, okay, like, how are we gonna make this go? Because we need people to vote.
Yep.
But, you know, this is not a great time to be paying annual dues. So we did a bunch of restructuring, and so right now people can join the FTA for $1. That's the dues for the remainder of 2020. And then you can select either an annual membership or a monthly payment option that will begin in January. So pretty cool. The reason I mentioned the video is because I watched it back, and I now I want to turn it into a drinking game. That, like, every time you hear Beth Jones say what you can join the FTA for $1, just have a shot or something.
And before you know it, you'll have joined like 50 times, you know, and there you go, yeah. It's a good scheme, Beth Jones.
It was all part of my master plan.
I put that link, I just tracked down the video and put that link up in the live stream feed too, so people can hop on there and grab it. Yeah, yeah, that's a pro
Now
move.
you'll have to watch it. Now you'll have to watch it when we get done with our chat.
It's good. I have it on my computer right now, but it's on silent, so all I can see you doing is like smiling, and it looks like kind of screaming at me occasionally.
We're still taking shots though, so.
Just guess anytime you think I said $1. That might even be a better strategy. Just watch them silent and pretend.
Cool. Well, that's all really exciting. It's
Yeah.
cool to see stuff moving forward, and yeah, I mean, we're certainly aware of how much work goes into infrastructure and like getting a foundation for something set up to even be able to do the real work. So
Yeah.
so yeah, definitely like I can't imagine all the different odds and ends that have to go into that. I guess I can't imagine. I can very specifically imagine all of the odds and ends that have to go into that.
We're just not going to stage them out loud, yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah. Anything else for our audience here? Anything before we let you get back to your?
Yeah, I have something.
I was asking our guest Ashkahn.
This is my time now. Have you played around with Election Buddy? I saw you guys mention that in your email.
Have you played? Oh, I thought you were going to ask me if I've been playing my kazoo. The answer to that is yes.
Oh,
Nice. Good. Yeah.
Election Buddy.
More importantly, yeah. Whatever, and then election buddy here or whatever. Yeah.
Because I love it. It's one of the few times I was like looking for software and I came across something that was like absolutely exactly what I was looking for, and it's like they built it out of my brain. And it's called Election Buddy, which is like the greatest name. So I just wanted to appreciate. This is Election Buddy sponsored this episode, so I had to work it in there.
Oh yeah, they did.
No, we don't. No one sponsors us in bathrobes. Yeah, it's not happening
You
yet.
guys, see, this is what happens when you've been in your bathrobe talking to the mayor in your bathrobe. Yeah, no, it's a super cool software. James Harder actually located that and introduced it to the board, and it's I'm with you. Like, it just it's called Election Buddy, and it's just easy. It's a really great.
He probably played with it because that's how we've been voting on the float conference thing. But
nice.
Yeah, it's so you're gonna have a great
see,
time.
he's just hijacking your tricks. Is what's happening.
That's fine. That's
I
all.
probably
That's all
shouldn't
great.
have said anything. Now I'm leaving you but
yeah, Election Buddy is you're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be great.
yeah.
We got a very specific.
It's gonna be great.
We got a very specific FTA question coming in from someone too, which
sweet.
related to membership. They say,
Let's find out.
This is
Yeah.
real, guys.
Yeah, this is-
real
yeah, we're really
live
doing-
interaction
yeah.
that's happening here.
real type-in show we got going on. So they say if someone joined the FTA at Rise last year, is the membership still valid? They rejoined for $1, not knowing, and I guess we're wondering if they could, potentially get that $1 back. No.
Okay, so yes. So what happens? What happened with that? And shout out to Helmbot because we've got some we call them Flotation Tank Association friends that are helping us with a couple of things, and we're super grateful to be able to use Helmbot for our membership management now, which is going to help us a lot in transparency and reporting and renewing memberships automatically, which is really excellent because I actually joined the this is like a really long answer to this question.
No, it's good. I like it. I'll grab in for story time. Yeah.
So I actually joined the FTA before my float centers were ever open, and then found out because I just assumed that like everything else, it would just automatically renew. And it turns out that was not ever the case. There wasn't like a automatic renewal set up on memberships in the past. And so I wasn't a member of the FTA, and I didn't know because I just assumed somebody was taking my money, but I was wrong. But anyway, so I said that to say that no, in the past it did not auto renew. So if you signed up at Rise last year, then it's due to renew. So your membership is expiring. So it was totally the right thing to do to sign up on Helm with this new round for $1.
And in the future, it will auto renew.
In the future, it will auto renew. Yes.
Cool.
Future sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there you go.
Answering questions.
Live answers
Solving problems.
with the story thrown in too. That was good.
With a story. Because we're in quarantine, so it's that.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for hopping on and joining us, Beth. This has been excellent catching up and chatting with you.
Yeah.
Well, I sure miss you guys, and looking forward to kazoo concerts at FloCon. And actually, so if you guys thought that I hugged a lot at FloCon's past, then you should just prepare yourself.
So yeah, if you don't, we'll get a special no hug sticker for people who feel uncomfortable with that proximity.
With Beth Jones.
Yeah, Beth Jones
Why are they
specifically.
trying to hug them?
A little note through. No Beth Jones hugs.
It's honestly gonna have to be like a real giant stop sign sticker.
Like a placard,
Beth, do not because my hug reserves are very at critically low levels right now, and it's gonna take me a long time to restore them.
That's funny. When we were talking to Gloria just earlier this week, she was mentioning that she felt the same way, but specifically brought you up as saying I can only imagine how Beth Jones is feeling right now.
It's true. It's so true. She knows my heart. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks again, Beth, and hopefully talk to you soon. Have a great afternoon over there.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, now I have Graham and Ashkahn's phone numbers in my phone, and I'm feeling very privileged. So, you can expect some real fun text messages in the future.
That's good. Yeah, well, we'll expect some drunken ones from us too after we watch that video with the drinking game. So.
We have a picture of your face on a stuffed animal now, so expect some voodoo doll sort of stuff happening in your future.
Looking forward. I hope that voodoo doll only gets hugs because anything else would be not nice.
Yeah, it's just gonna be us calling you in overalls and sawdust around us and weird wood pieces that we scrounged off the street, being how did we build desks again, Beth? How? Help us! We want to enter a piece into the museum.
All of that. Yes, please. Yes to that.
All right. Well, take care, Beth, and talk to you soon.
Have a good day, loves.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh yeah, why haven't we been doing that before? So natural.
Okay.
Well, that was it.
That's it. It's
That's
another
Thursday.
day. Yeah, day
Yep.
Anteater is what's happening in quarantine.
We have
All concepts of space and time have started to break down around here.
It's not an anteater, buddy.
What?
It's not an anteater.
It's not an anteater?
Read their title on the episode.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, it's an echidna. Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The echidna. I
It's
brought
like
up the,
specialized.
for the
It's
for the
Australian for anteater.
for the photo reference. They're kind of like tiny spiky anteaters.
Yeah.
But I brought up a picture of you petting an echidna to get that up there.
Echidnas are awesome. Let's just take a moment before we part ways here to tell you to Google echidnas, because they are like the most powerful, but they're basically like porcupines. They got these spiky backs, but what they do, the only part of them that's vulnerable is like their face and their soft little belly. And so if they feel threatened, they burrow into the ground to bury that, and they just end up being these little like spike balls sticking out of little ground mounds. And it's excellent. And when we were in Australia, someone told me a story that they came across one driving on the road, and it was able to burrow its way through the asphalt of the road to bury its face. So they're fucking serious. Like, it's a serious day.
Wow. Are you sure you heard that?
Yeah.
Okay. That spell's just really hard.
I know. That's why it's
Like, really,
impressive.
it's really hard.
Yeah, they dug through it. I mean, it was like an old, it was
Wives' tale.
it was like a road, an old road.
Sorry, we have someone in the background who's trying to tell us something. Put on our hats.
I was saying an Australian told
We have a
you.
live audience member here.
Yeah. Oh, an Australian told us, so we shouldn't believe them.
An Australian told you about the echidna that buried its head.
I didn't really thought about it like that. The echidnas, I'm pretty sure they're real. So.
I have photos of you petting them. So we actually have a guest lined up for Monday.
Oh.
Yeah, did you want to
Nice.
let the people know who it is?
Yeah.
Guess, just guess.
It's gonna be an echidna. We got one. We've got
It
one
was a
from
good guess
Australia.
considering the context,
We're
yeah.
gonna scare it on the
It
table
starts
and
with-
see if they can dig
It starts with a G.
I remember this now. It's Greg Griffin. And
Nice,
it's like-
yes, you're right. It is
Yeah.
Greg Griffin. We have Greg Griffin coming on Monday.
Yeah, he's just gonna live stream his Nintendo setup, I think.
We're just gonna play video games. We should totally do a little like Dr. Mario, like sling it around. I used to be pretty good at Dr. Mario, so. Greg Griffin, come join us Monday, same time as we started, not as we're ending, and yeah, you'll all see us there.
If you're there, yeah.
Well, yeah, if you're there. Maybe we don't turn off the camera this time. I mean, usually we just come back here and start doing computer work. We can
Yeah.
just leave it running. Hackertyper.com.
Just turn this off.
Oh boy.